The false spirituality trap, what the Buddha actually taught, and how it fixes your life. Imagine waking up in the quietest hour of the night. The world outside is perfectly still. The streets are empty. The air is calm. Yet, inside your mind, a storm is raging. Thoughts of yesterday's mistakes crash into worries about tomorrow's obligations. Your heart beats faster. Your chest feels tight. You try to force your mind to be quiet. You command yourself to stop thinking. But the harder you push against the thoughts, the louder they scream. Why does the human mind feel like a prison we cannot escape? Why do we exhaust ourselves trying to control a world that is constantly changing? What if everything you have been taught about finding peace is entirely backwards? For thousands of years, an ancient truth has been quietly passed down. It is a truth that does not require you to believe in magic. It does not ask you to pray to unseen forces or perform elaborate rituals. It is a profound science of the mind, discovered over 2 millennia ago by an awakened sage. Today, modern neuroscience and clinical research are finally catching up to what this sage knew all along. We will explore the pure, original teachings of the Buddha. We will strip away the myths, the cultural additions, and the false beliefs that have clouded this ancient wisdom. You will discover how a simple, profound shift in your attention can completely dissolve stress, anxiety, and heartbreak. You are about to learn the art of doing nothing, and in doing so, gaining everything. Look around at the modern world. Look at how we live our daily lives. From the moment we open our eyes, we are bombarded. Glowing screens demand our attention. Emails, messages, breaking news, endless streams of information. We are constantly connected to the entire globe, yet we have never felt more profoundly alone. We rush to work, sacrificing our health for wealth. Then, later in life, we spend all that wealth trying to buy back our health. We buy things we do not need, to impress people we do not even know. And when the weight of this existence becomes too heavy, we look for a way out. When the suffering peaks, many turn to spirituality. But what they often find is a distorted version of truth. In times of crisis, human beings instinctively want to feel protected. So, we create false refuges. We seek out fortune tellers to predict our future, hoping to control what cannot be controlled. We wear amulets, sacred threads, and charms, believing a piece of metal or string can shield us from the natural laws of the universe. We pray to stars, planets, ancient trees, and statues, begging for good fortune, wealth, and health. But the awakened one, the Buddha, taught something entirely different. He observed that all people experience suffering. Rich or poor, powerful or weak, everyone gets sick. Everyone grows old. Everyone eventually faces death. This is the great equalizer. The Buddha stated clearly that asking for protection from external forces is a delusion. He taught that peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. He warned against relying on rituals, astrology, and mystical objects. He called these things lowly arts because they trap the mind in fear and ignorance. They keep you waiting for a miracle, rather than taking responsibility for your own mind. The truth is, there is an invisible law governing our lives. It is the law of cause and effect, action and result. Buddhism calls this karma. Karma is not a magical punishment from a divine judge. Karma is simply your actions and the intentions behind them. Your life right now is the result of your past decisions, your past thoughts, and your past habits. If you spend your days thinking angry thoughts, your reality becomes hostile. If you spend your days consumed by greed, you will always feel a deep sense of lack, no matter how much money you have in the bank. Your mind is the architect of your world. Think about a time when someone insulted you. Someone at work criticized your performance, or someone online left a hateful comment. What happened inside you? Instantly, a tight knot formed in your chest. Your mind began to spin. You replayed their words over and over. You crafted the perfect argument in your head. You carried that person with you to dinner. You took them to bed with you. They lived in your mind, completely rent-free. The external event, the word spoken, lasted only 5 seconds. But your mind kept the suffering alive for 5 days, 5 months, or even 5 years. This is the human condition. We are tortured not by reality, but by our thoughts about reality. How do we break this cycle? How do we stop the endless spinning of the mind? The answer is profound, yet startlingly simple. It is a practice known as anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. But it is not just taking a few deep breaths to relax. It is a radical shift in how you relate to your own existence. To understand why this works, we must look at how the mind behaves. The Buddha used a brilliant metaphor. He said, imagine a man catches 6 different wild animals: a snake, a crocodile, a bird, a dog, a fox, and a monkey. He ties each of them to a rope and knots all 6 ropes together. Then, he lets them go. What happens? The snake tries to slither into a termite mound. The crocodile pulls toward the water. The bird tries to fly up into the sky. The dog tries to run into a village. The fox pulls toward the graveyard. The monkey tries to climb into the forest. All 6 animals are struggling, pulling in completely different directions. Whichever animal is the strongest at that moment will drag the others along. The Buddha explained that this is exactly what happens to our mind when it is not trained. The 6 animals represent our 6 senses: our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind itself. All day long, your eyes pull you toward attractive sights. Your ears pull you toward pleasant sounds or drag you away from harsh noise. Your mind pulls you into memories of the past or anxieties about the future. You are constantly being dragged around by your senses, exhausted, with no stable center. Now, imagine the man takes those 6 ropes, and instead of just tying them together, he ties them to a strong, deeply rooted wooden post. The animals still pull. The bird tries to fly. The crocodile tries to swim. But the post is completely unmoving. Eventually, the animals become exhausted. They stop pulling. They lie down and rest peacefully next to the strong post. This post, the Buddha taught, is mindfulness of the body. It is your breath. When you anchor your attention to your breathing, your thoughts will still try to pull you away. Your worries will try to drag you into the future. But if you hold fast to the anchor of the breath, eventually, the mind runs out of energy. It settles down. It becomes still. It finds profound peace. Modern science is now proving what this ancient text revealed. Neuroscientists study something called the default mode network in the brain. This is the network that activates when we are not focused on a specific task. It is the part of the brain responsible for mind-wandering, worrying, regretting, and obsessing over ourselves. An overactive default mode network is strongly linked to depression and severe anxiety. It is the biological equivalent of the monkey mind swinging wildly from branch to branch. But brain scans of people practicing mindfulness show something remarkable. When a person simply shifts their attention to the physical sensation of air entering and leaving their nose, the default mode network quiets down. The areas of the brain associated with stress and fear, like the amygdala, shrink in activity. Simultaneously, deep, slow breathing stimulates the vagus nerve. This sends a biological signal to your heart and nervous system that you are safe. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure drops. Without taking a pill, without speaking to a therapist, without performing a magical ritual, your own body produces the deepest sense of calm. The Buddha called this coming back to your own domain. So how do we practice this in the chaos of a busy life? You do not need to sit in a dark cave for 20 years. You can practice this while sitting at your office desk, while driving in heavy traffic, or while lying in bed unable to sleep. The technique is simple, but it requires patience. Close your eyes, or simply soften your gaze. Bring your attention to the air touching the edge of your nostrils. When you breathe in, simply know, I am breathing in. When you breathe out, simply know, I am breathing out. You do not need to force the breath to be long or short. Just let it flow naturally. Within seconds, a thought will arise. You will remember an unpaid bill. You will think about what to eat for lunch. When this happens, do not get angry at yourself. The mind's nature is to produce thoughts, just as the ocean's nature is to produce waves. The Buddha taught a specific action for this moment. It is the secret to true liberation. He called it the destruction of Nandi. Nandi translates to delight, enjoyment, or getting entangled in the story. When you realize your mind has wandered off, do not analyze the thought. Do not try to finish the storyline. Drop it instantly. Imagine holding a piece of burning hot coal. The moment you realize it is burning your flesh, you do not pause to examine the coal. You do not ask where the coal came from or who gave it to you. You simply drop it. Immediately. This is how you must treat your wandering thoughts. The split second you realize you are thinking, release the thought. Drop the hot coal. And gently, firmly, bring your attention back to the breath. Back to the wooden post. Every time you do this, something magical happens in the brain. You are strengthening your neural pathways of focus. You are building the muscle of mindfulness. If you have to bring your mind back 1,000 times in 10 minutes, that is 1,000 victories. Do not view the wandering mind as a failure. View it as an opportunity to practice letting go. This simple act, breathing, noticing a thought, dropping the thought, and returning to the breath, destroys the root of karma. Karma is created when intention meets action. When you get lost in an angry thought and you dwell on it, you are planting seeds of suffering. When you drop the thought before it takes root, you cut off the karma. You starve the weed. Many modern teachers will tell you to try and make your mind totally blank. They say meditation is about achieving absolute silence. This causes immense frustration. The Buddha never taught us to suppress the mind by force. He taught us to observe it without getting involved. Imagine you are sitting by the side of a busy highway. Cars are zooming past. Some are fast, some are slow. Some are beautiful, some are ugly. If you try to run into the street and stop the cars with your bare hands, you will be crushed. This is what happens when you fight your thoughts. But if you sit safely on the sidewalk and simply watch the cars go by, without trying to stop them, they eventually pass. You remain at peace. As you practice this, your relationship with the world changes. When your boss sends a stressful email, the sensation hits your eyes. The thought arises. But instead of instantly reacting with panic, you notice the tightness in your chest. You take a conscious breath. You drop the hot coal of panic. Then, from a place of stillness, you respond with clarity instead of reacting with fear. When someone insults you, you realize their words are just sound waves traveling through the air. If you do not catch those words and build a story around them, They vanish into nothingness. The Buddha said, if someone offers you a gift, and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong? It belongs to the giver. In the same way, if someone offers you anger, and you do not accept it, the anger remains with them. This brings us to one of the most misunderstood concepts in modern life: detachment. People hear the word detachment and they think it means becoming cold, emotionless, or unloving. They think it means giving up on your goals or not caring about your family. But true Buddhist detachment is not about giving up your possessions or your loved ones. It is about giving up your demand that they stay exactly the same forever. There is a famous story that perfectly illustrates this truth. A monk was holding a beautiful, rare porcelain cup. He looked at his students and said, "I love this cup. It holds my tea in the morning. It catches the sunlight beautifully. But to me, this cup is already broken. Because I know that its nature is fragile, and one day it will shatter, I enjoy it completely right now. And when it finally falls to the ground and breaks, I will simply say, of course." This is the ultimate superpower in modern life. To love fully, to work passionately, to build a life, but to know that everything is temporary. This truth is called anicca, impermanence. When you accept that your youth is impermanent, you stop agonizing over every new wrinkle. When you accept that relationships evolve and change, you stop suffocating your partner with jealousy and control. When you accept that money comes and goes, you stop letting your bank account dictate your self-worth. Suffering is not caused by the things in our lives. Suffering is caused by our invisible, desperate grip on them. Look closely at the people around you who are always angry, always stressed, always exhausted. They are trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter they squeeze, the faster it slips away. Buddhism teaches us to open the hand. Let the water rest in your palm. Enjoy it while it is there. Let it go when it is time. If you want to know how much peace you have, look at how easily you can let go of an argument. Look at how easily you can change your plans when the weather ruins your day. The rigid tree breaks in the storm. The bamboo bends, survives, and stands tall again when the wind passes. There is another profound illusion that keeps us trapped in anxiety. It is the illusion of the self. In the ancient language of Pali, this is called anatta, or non-self. We walk through life believing that there is a solid, unchanging person inside our heads. We say, "I am an angry person," or "I am an anxious person," or "I am a failure." We build a heavy armor of identity, and then we spend all our energy defending it. If someone insults our identity, we feel like we are dying. But the Buddha asked his students to look closely at this self. If you are your body, which part is you? Your cells regenerate completely every few years. You do not have the same body you had when you were 10 years old. If you are your thoughts, which thought are you? The thought you had yesterday? The thought you are having right now? Thoughts change faster than the wind. If you are your feelings, which feeling are you? You can be happy in the morning, furious at noon, and peaceful by sunset. The truth is, there is no solid you to be found. You are a flowing river of experiences, sensations, and awareness. When you truly realize this, an immense weight falls off your shoulders. You do not have to defend your ego anymore, because your ego is just a story you keep telling yourself. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have it all figured out. You are simply awareness, experiencing the unfolding of life. When a feeling of sadness arises, you no longer say, "I am sad." Instead, you become the observer. You say, "Sadness is passing through my awareness." When anger arises, you do not become the anger. You say, anger is present in the body. This creates a space between you and your emotions. In that space lies your freedom. We spend so much time running from our pain. We scroll on our phones for hours to numb the mind. We overwork, we overeat, we constantly seek entertainment, all to avoid sitting in silence with ourselves. But the Buddha taught that the way out of suffering is not around it. The way out is through it. When you finally stop running, when you finally sit down and face the shadow, you realize it was just a shadow. It cannot hurt you. The pain you feel is just a sensation. The fear you feel is just a physical tightening in the chest and a story in the mind. If you bring your breath to it, if you observe it with gentleness, it will begin to dissolve. You become the sky. Clouds of sorrow, clouds of stress, clouds of desire will drift into this space. But the sky does not fight the clouds. The sky does not cling to the clouds. It simply allows them to pass. And eventually, they always do. You do not need to wait until your life is perfect to find peace. You do not need to pay off all your debts, fix all your relationships, or achieve all your goals before you can finally relax. Because the truth of impermanence means that the moment you fix one problem, a new one will arise. Things are constantly breaking, changing, and fading away. Even your own body is aging with every breath you take. If you attach your happiness to things that are destined to change, you will suffer forever. Instead, attach your attention to the only thing that is happening right now, this very breath. The moment you let go of trying to control the world, the universe opens up to you. When you stop demanding that life be easy, you develop the strength to handle anything. This is not giving up. This is profound acceptance. You continue to work. You continue to love. You continue to build a life. But you do it with open hands, not clenched fists. As you rest tonight, or as you move through your day, remember your anchor. Bring your mind back to your body. Feel the weight of gravity holding you. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. If thoughts arrive, let them come. But do not invite them for tea. Drop the hot coal. Return to the breath. You are not the voice in your head. You are the silent, vast awareness watching it all happen. Rest in that silence. It is your true home. If these teachings have sparked a light within you, allow that light to guide you forward. Do not rely on anyone else to walk this path for you. The Buddha pointed the way, but you must take the steps. Practice this mindfulness daily. Make it your shield and your sanctuary. If you found value in this journey, please subscribe to our channel and share this wisdom with someone who may be suffering in silence. May you be free from anxiety. May you walk with an unburdened heart. May you find true peace.